Welcome to Chapter 1, Section 2. Today we're going to be talking about solving multiple step equations with the keyword of solving. And remember, we briefly discussed PEMDAS the other day, and we talked about simplifying expressions going in order of PEMDAS. And when we solve, especially multi-step equations, we're working through the reverse or the inverse order of PEMDAS. So that's going to be our key concept today. We're going to work backwards through PEMDAS to solve equations. In example 1, we want to combine like terms if needed, then solve each equation for the variable. So we have 2.5x minus 13 equals 2. Now I'm going to write up PEMDAS up here at the top, and you're going to see that we are going to undo the addition and subtraction before undoing the multiplication and division. So we'll add 13 to both sides, and we'll have 2.5x is equal to 15. Now I can undo the multiplication and division. Here I'm going to undo by division and multiply 15 by 2.5, and that will give me an x value of 6. Again, we should plug that 6 back into x. 2.5 times 6 gives me 15. 15 minus 13 is equal to 2. So that checks out. Let's try example B. Negative 12 is equal to 9y minus 6y plus 15. So before doing anything, I see that I have a 9y and a negative 6y in this right side of my equation. Those are like terms that I'm going to combine. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 12 is equal to 3y plus 15. Now I'm going to undo the addition and subtraction by subtracting 15 from both sides. That gives me now negative 27 is equal to 3y. And now I can undo my division, or sorry, I can undo my multiplication by dividing both sides by 3. That gives me a y value of negative 9. In 1c, I'm dealing with some fractions here, and I see I have negative 3/8x plus 1/2x minus 6 is equal to 5. So right away I'm going to add over the 6 to the 5 on the other side, and then I'm going to combine like terms using addition, but I need to convert 1/2 to have a common denominator as negative 3/8. So that gives me negative 3/8x plus 4/8x is equal to 11. Now combining a negative 3 and a positive 4 gives me 1/8x is equal to 11. So 1/8 of some number is equal to 11. To undo this 1/8, you might think I'll divide over by 1/8. But a better way to think through that is to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/8, which is just 8. So if I multiply 1/8 by 8, they will undo each other. Now I'm going to multiply 11 by 8, and my value for x is equal to 88. All right, in example 1d, we have 4 times the quantity n minus 6 minus 1 is equal to 30. So a lot of you would start by distributing that 4 into the parentheses, but we actually don't need to do that. I'm going to start by adding my 1 over, my plus 1. Now I have 4 times some quantity n minus 6 is equal to 32. Now I'm simply going to undo the multiplication, which is the 4 times this quantity. Instead of multiplying the 4 into the parentheses, I'm going to get rid of it over to the other side by the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. All right, now I'm left with the quantity n minus 6 is equal to 32 over 4, which simplifies to 8, and now I can add 6 to both sides, and my value for n is 14. All right, so that's a few examples of solving multi-step equations. Let's jump into a word problem here that deals with the mean or the average number. Recall that an average can be found by adding the numbers and dividing by the total number of numbers that you summed up. Use the table at the right to find the number of miles you need to bike on Friday so that the mean number of miles is 5. Remember, mean number of miles is the average number of miles. All right, so we're going to write the equation 3.5 miles on Monday plus 5.5 miles on Tuesday plus 0, I must have been a day off on Wednesday, plus 5 on Thursday plus x, all divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers should add up to equal 5. In other words, this left-hand side of the equation represents my equation for finding the average number of miles. If I want the average number of miles to be equal to 5, then I'm going to set it equal to 5. Now, this is a grouping symbol, this division bar here. So I'm going to add together all my like terms up here at the top. 3.5 plus 5.5 plus another 5 gives me 14 plus x all over 5 is equal to 5. Let's get the 5 out of the denominator by multiplying both sides by 5. And now I'm left with 14 plus x is equal to 25. And finally, I can subtract the 14 from 25, and that gives me the value of 11 miles. So, big day on Friday. In order to average 5 miles over the course of those 5 days, you need to put in an 11-mile day, which is approximately the distance from Zeeland to Tunnel Park. All right, I know that because I did the bike hike in New Groningen back in 5th grade. All right, example 3 says, you buy a car in Indiana and pay a total of $10,195, including 7% sales tax and $425 in additional fees. That's like title and registration. For those of you guys that are turning 16 soon, you'll understand. Your good friend also buys a car. This comes from Michigan with a total cost of $9,995 and includes a 6% sales tax, $400 in additional fees. Compare the list price, which is the original price of the two vehicles. So let's make two variables, I for Indiana price of the car, and then the other one we'll call M for the price of the car in Michigan. All right, so you bought a car in Indiana and pay a total of, that's the total, and it includes a 7% sales tax. So when we talk about a 7% increase, that's what sales tax is, from the original cost, then we're going to talk about it as 1.07. That would be the cost plus the 7% sales tax. Now you're going to add to that an additional $425, and that will equal the total of $10,195. So we're going to write the equation 1.07i, that's the cost of the car in Indiana, plus an additional $425 is equal to the total cost of $10,195. The equation for Michigan looks similar, however now there's a 6% sales tax. So that multiplier would be 1.06 times the car's price in Michigan plus the additional fees, and that's going to equal the total price of $9,995. Now, following our order of operations, we are going to solve for our individual variables, I and M. Let's start with the Indiana. We're going to subtract 425, and that gives us 1.07i is equal to $9,770. Dividing now both sides by 1.07, the Indiana car price, or the value of I in this case, is $9,130.84. All right, follow that same logic and solve for the price of the car in Michigan and tell me which of those two cars had a cheaper sticker price. All right, example 4 is very similar. Let's check it out. You got two people that eat out. One eats out in New York and pays a total of $14.15. This includes an 8% sales tax and a $2 tip. Your friend eats out in Michigan, pays $14.18, and her price includes a 6% sales tax and a $1.90 tip. All right, so once again, we got two variables. N is going to be our meal price in New York, and let's let M be our meal price in Michigan. All right, we have 8% sales tax on that meal price in New York, plus additional $2 tip, comes out to be a total of $14.18. Oh, just kidding, $14.15. That was the New York price. And then in Michigan, we have $1.06 times the Michigan price, plus a $1.90 tip, and that should be a total of $14.18. All right, I would like for you to solve each one of these equations for the variable for M and N and tell me again which one of these two meals was more costly, the one in New York or the one in Michigan.